Hey, you guys. So I want to talk about something that I get asked a lot, which is the process of actually writing the book. Now, when you think about writing a book, oftentimes people think, oh, I'll just write it and then get it out into the world and we're good to go. It's that simple. And I hate to break it to you, but that's actually not the case. It's not even a little bit accurate. So there's so much that goes into creating a book, so it doesn't come across as like a long-winded blog post or just a bunch of like journal entries or messy writing, right? So for those of you who think, oh, I'm a great writer, I could write a book. Yes, you can. And I'm also here to tell you that unless you've done it before, the chances are that you will likely need support through the process to ensure that what I just mentioned doesn't happen with your book. So a couple things to consider when you are deciding that now is the time to write your book. And for those of you thinking that right now, you're right. It is the time. Right now is the perfect time, especially given this pandemic that we're all in right now, because the truth of the matter is we've got more time to ourselves. And instead of sitting around doing whatever you're doing with Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or all these shows that I'm hearing all about all over social media, what would it look like to actually do something that was making an impact in the lives of other people? Now, I'm not saying that if you're not doing that, that you're not awesome or whatever, because that's not the case. If you just feel like, you know what, I want to write a book and now it's just not my time, cool. Totally good. However, if there is a calling on your heart to make it happen, these are the things that you should know before you begin. Number one, a lot of people think, oh, I'll just start writing and things will come to me as I go through the process. Sure, that is an option. However, in my experience, 10 years of experience writing professionally, I would not suggest this method. Here's why. It is confusing AF to go through the process of trying to create an actual cohesive story without having a solid outline. That is why the first thing that I do with any of my coaching clients is to take them through writing their book outline with my literary agent. I do this because you want to make sure that you've got a roadmap to follow. If you don't have that roadmap, then you're shooting blanks into the ethers and you have no idea where they're going to land. So set yourself up for success and get that book outline written before anything else. Now, what is in that book outline? First of all, obviously you're going to have the chapters and then you're going to have the sub-chapters that are going to go within there. You also want to look at what are the stories that I'm going to tell? Are there any testimonials that I want to share? Is there a specific lesson that I want the reader to know when they read this chapter or this sub-chapter, whatever? If you go to my website, CherieTrask.com, there is a place as soon as you open the website where you're going to put in your email address and I will shoot you over a free guide to write your book outline. So that is so huge, you guys. It's absolutely crucial. And I say this with everybody. And I've talked to people who've said, well, I wrote my book without an outline. Good for you. I also don't recommend it because the fact is, like, writing your book is hard enough. Why not make it a little easier on yourself and have a roadmap to follow, again, to set yourself up for success? The other part is there is a whole mindset piece around writing your book. A lot of people don't take this into consideration, but the truth of the matter is, and it makes total sense if you think about it, you are digging up pieces of your past that either could feel uncomfortable, they could potentially be unhealed, and you haven't addressed those things. You could be bringing up things that you haven't thought about in years, and now all of a sudden they're coming to the surface and you don't know what to do with them. You're trying to put information into a book that maybe for whatever reason either doesn't feel supportive of the place you're in now. Because you haven't done anything about it, it feels really uncomfortable to dig into those places, and so you're debating, do I just skip it and not put that in there? Would really, like, that's the juice of the book and the content that you're creating. It is so imperative to do the mindset work. In my coaching program, I do that with my clients all the time, and that's an ongoing process because I will not tell you how many times I have worked with clients that are very successful entrepreneurs and thought leaders in this world, yet ultimately they want to quit because they have conversations around worthiness, enoughness. Will this be enough as the book and as me? So Yes, it's so important. And it's why also in my online course, it is ingrained in every step of the process throughout the entire 30 lessons. Okay, so that one's super important. Another piece that you want to consider is the flow, right? So we talked about the outline. You want to also have a solid flow or solid through line. That means the topic that you're talking about, you want to make sure that that is crystal clear and interwoven throughout everything that you're writing. If it's not, it's going to confuse the reader and it's going to be really confusing for you to write. What I see a lot of times is people start telling a story, or they start giving like a lesson or a wisdom bomb that they want people to get in their book, but they don't close the gap. So there's a lot of cliffhangers there and you're going, but wait, what happens next? That part sucks, right? Like there's nothing worse than watching a movie and getting to the end and being like, guys, what happened? So you want to make sure that you're closing those gaps and not having them present in your book. Another thing that I see a lot of, and this is also super important, is the people that think that they can just write a book without support. Now I talked about this, or I mentioned this briefly at the beginning, right? But I really don't suggest that. And it's not because I'm saying you should hire me, I want to help. Yes, I would love to do that. And maybe it's not me, maybe it's somebody else. Totally okay. You have to find who vibes with you and you vibe with them. It has to be the right fit. But what I will say is that there is an art to writing books versus writing blogs or social media posts. It is very different. And there are people like myself that they have dedicated their entire professional existence to making sure that your vision is given a voice in a way that is engaging for your reader, that is relatable to your reader, that makes them want to keep coming back for more. So don't be afraid of asking for help. Another thing that I see is people that do write their own books that haven't hired an editor. Now, I cannot tell you the importance of having an editor any more than to say it's absolutely a non-negotiable. Whether you're doing line editing or developmental editing, which I get into all of the differences in these things in my course, and I'm happy to discuss those with you. If you have questions, shoot me a message. But those are imperative. And what does that do? It's not just for spelling and grammar. While that is part of it, developmental editing helps you to actually tell a story. It helps the reader come to you in the story and be like, oh, I totally get what she's saying or he's saying. Yes, I feel like these are tangible tools. Yes, I feel relatable. I like her. I like him, whatever that looks like. It draws them in. And you know what? If you don't have that, I'll tell you what, if you think that you're going to pitch to a traditional publisher and get picked up without having all of that stuff taken care of in your final manuscript, not going to happen. It's not happening. So that's another piece. Got to get an editor. Yes, I do that stuff. So yes, I'm happy to help you or answer any questions that you have, but you've got to be brave enough to ask, right? So no question is a stupid question. I fully believe that. This is my specialty, just like you have a specialty in something that I probably know very little about, and that's okay. So another piece that I see is people making comments throughout the book about something that they're going to teach. Yet you get to the end of the book and you're like, but wait, I was still waiting to hear about XYZ and it never came. Don't leave people hanging. I talked about the cliffhangers, and this is another piece of that. Don't do it. What I would suggest is making notes of the things that you say that you're going to share later. Then when you go back after you've done your first manuscript and you're into phase 2, you're going to go ahead and put those things where they go. So make sure you are staying organized and taking notes. If you are not somebody who is organized, again, this is just another place where you should be hiring somebody like me to help you out, because organization is my jam and I would love to help you with that. Are you kidding me? It's so much fun. Plus, that's what makes a book. So there's a lot of other things that I could go on, but we're going to make another video for that. So I hope that that is helpful. If at any point you find yourself having questions about the process of writing a book, please reach out to me. I am here to support you. And for the record, I just want to make it super clear, because I get this question all the time too. I'm not a book publisher. I am a book writing coach, a ghostwriter, and I have an online course that teaches you my entire system, 100% success rate to write your book in 90 days or less if you're one of those people that just wants to take the bull by the horns and really go for it, especially now when we've got so much time. So there is a difference. I will get into all of that, but if you have further questions or you're ready to say, I'm freaking in, let's have a conversation, or I can send you the link to my online course, which again is my entire system that I take my clients through step by step. No, you do not get one-on-one support with the online course, but I will tell you what, if you follow it, you will succeed. So I look forward in hearing from you, having your questions, doing whatever I can to support this process of giving your vision a voice and getting it out into the world. I will talk to you soon.